Good afternoon, NOSA community, and welcome back to our channel. We are so glad to have you guys here because we're actually talking about a fairly popular topic, and it's something that is applicable to staffing agencies as well as nurses, whether you're a registered nurse or a practical nurse or vocational nurse. And it's the Nurse Licensure Compact. Again, welcome back to our channel. My name is Shamika, and I am the creator and founder of the NOSA group. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Go ahead and subscribe to our channel, as well as click that alert bell and get updates on our latest content that can affect you if you're a healthcare staffing agency owner, interested in getting in the business, or interested in growing or expanding your business. So let's talk about it. So one, this is something that's been going on for some time, but over the last couple of months, it's gotten a lot of steam, and that more and more states are joining the Licensure Compact, which is exciting because it's something that has been around for some time, but not a lot of states were a part of. But since the pandemic and over the last 5 to 7 years, a lot more have joined, which makes it easier for one, nurses to work across state lines, travelers to more easily work, and then agency owners to offer your particular staff members opportunities in more than one state if it's something that they're interested in. So in the dynamic landscape of modern healthcare, we see that the role of the nurse is quite pivotal, and we see a lot of changes around the ability to provide quality patient care. So one of those advancements in technology to address the growing needs for healthcare services has been the Nurse Licensure Compact, which emerged due to, I think, a desire to empower nurses, to allow nurses to work across state lines and kind of make healthcare a more accessible part of our everyday lives. We see that through telehealth. We've seen that through the expansion of the Nurse Licensure Compact and a lot of other elements of our everyday lives in our profession. So essentially what it is, and I'll refer to it as NLC throughout the presentation, but it's the ability for nurses to operate interstate through an agreement that authorizes practicing in other states that have implemented the compact with a multi-state license. So it's important to note that as a nurse, you must be licensed already in your respective states or have the privilege to practice in that state where the patient requires care. So you do need to meet the same requirements for each state that you're going to be working in and be eligible to apply for a license. All the states may make sure that nurses working in the compact states have complied with the same set of standards. So the way I explain it to people is like this. So one of the states that recently enacted the Nurse Licensure Compact was Pennsylvania. And essentially, you can be a nurse working in the state of Pennsylvania, and all the nurses up until recently had, who were originally licensed in the state of Pennsylvania, had a single state license. But now they have the option as of, I believe it's September 15th, to apply for a multi-state license, which is similar to your initial process, but it may add in a couple of extra steps. Like for some states, they may require fingerprints or more extensive background. But nonetheless, you would still have to apply. And then when you see your license, instead of it saying single state, it'll say ENLC, or it may say multi-state depending on your state, but it kind of essentially covers this, meaning that you can work in more than one state. And then it'll list out through nurses all the states that you can work in. And this, of course, for a lot of your travelers, eliminates that process of applying for licenses in all the states that you want to work in. And what makes it nice here on the East Coast is that it kind of covers that most of that 95 corridor on the East Coast are a part of the Nurse Licensure Compact, which opens up more opportunities, not only for nurses, but also for NOSAs, in that you can have your one employee, if they have a multi-state license, work in multiple states for your particular agency. Eligibility for the multi-state privilege comes with specific criteria. Of course, you already have to hold an unrestricted RN, LPN, or LVN license, meet any specific education or examination requirements. So you must have already been a licensed person or be eligible to sit for the NCLEX if you recently graduated. And then any sort of state-specific or federal laws, which would include backgrounds and fingerprints. One other caveat that a lot of people kind of get turned around on is the primary state of residence. So whether you have a Nurse Licensure Compact or a single state license, you always have to designate as a part of the application process who or where is your primary state of residence. So it's a state that will issue your nursing regulatory body in that primary state of residence, and it's where you legally reside, and of course have a driver's license for pay taxes in. So it's your primary state of residence. And as I mentioned towards the end, there are some caveats to the time periods for how long that you can work in a Nurse Licensure Compact state and things of that nature, and how that impacts your residence. And that's something that you as an agency owner would have to properly communicate to your staff members. But nonetheless, initially, these are opportunities available to all who meet those specific requirements. The state issues your multi-state license, grants you the privilege to practice in other compact states. It's a pivotal factor that determines your eligibility or that allows you to operate with your multi-license in states that are compact states. And like I mentioned earlier, a lot of the East Coast is, their states are multi-states and compact states. So that creates a lot of flexibility, as in some of the upper Northeast, a lot of people live in one state and maybe work in another state, so it kind of eliminates that. So it's not fully the East Coast, but it's majority of the East Coast. It offers flexibility as far as working with different facilities for a lot of NOSAs, where you can work in different areas because you can place a nurse in maybe Texas and New Mexico if they have NLC. And then you can look at businesses in both states as well. It also opens opportunities for nurses when you think about telehealth and things of that nature. So those are great ways and opportunities for nurses. And I think this is just a great opportunity to really communicate the benefit to your staff members, so that one, if it's not something that they've done, that either it's something that you may encourage them to do or support them in doing. It's something that really will allow them to be and have access to more opportunities. So that's definitely something that we saw during the pandemic, be able to support or assist in disasters or crises more quickly, whether it be what we saw in COVID, it can also be hurricanes and earthquakes and things of that nature. If you are in the telehealth realm, that also creates another opportunity. So essentially navigating through the process is fairly simple. I'm going to share the website at the end, but you want to make sure that you're eligible. So you want to verify that you're eligible. And one of the main eligibility requirements is that you hold an active license. In the application, you have to identify where your primary state of residence is. Understand any sort of differences as far as each state has their own board of nursing. So any specific nursing practice regulations or requirements that that state may have. So you want to make sure that you're clear about that. Stay in compliance and adhere to any regulations that are specific to the Nurse Licensure Compact. And of course, stay informed. And what we have here at the end is the actual website that you can check out, www.nursecompact.com, where you can get more up-to-date information. You can sign up to get their newsletters or different updates about additional states that are either joining the Nurse Licensure Compact or pending, and then that way you can plan accordingly. One of the reasons I wanted to share this with you guys is just because it's something that impacts not only nurses, but NOSAs. I think it's something, and it's a good information to share with your staff about what's happening, especially if you're in a state that may be pending or that recently joined the Nurse Licensure Compact, just so that not only you're aware of what additional requirements or steps that you need to make sure that your staff member makes if they haven't already to be a part of it, you can kind of help maneuver them through the process. So I hope that helps. As always, you can subscribe to our channel here, click that alert bell for updates. Thanks for being a part of our community and supporting our efforts and supporting NOSAs through their journey of getting started, launching as well as growing your business.